You have to bear with me a little bit. I'm a little anxious, trying to remember everything I wrote down. It's not every day you get to give a speech for such a great guy. But enough about me. We're here for Dave and Mike. Growing up, Dave and I were always close. We still are, obviously, so it goes without saying that I wasn't really surprised when he asked me to be the maid of honor here today. You ever have like that old friend you don't see for a while, and then you see them again, you catch up with him or her, and you're like, hey, you remember when we used to do this, or remember when we went here that one time and everything? That was always me and my brother. But except that it was never that old friend.
My brother and I.
It was always us. All right, Graham, my brother and I. Sorry. And we were always close, and most of those times from us come from family vacations growing up. We were fortunate enough to go every year. We used to go different family vacations, July, August, different holidays for the weekends, day trips. One time we even went to the Bahamas for the day. Actually, it wasn't even for the day, it was 8 hours we went to the Bahamas. And all those stories are from our vacations. Like, hey, do you remember when we were in Maine and this happened, or remember when you were here and this happened? And most of those times, obviously, those family vacations are thanks to my mom and dad. They're the ones that took us on those family vacations. They always taught us to, be nice to each other, stick up for each other, play with each other, don't take each other for granted and everything. Do it like brothers are supposed to do. So, Mom and Dad, thanks for that, because if
You're
not,
welcome.
I wouldn't have had the relationship I have today with my brother. But I think it's safe to say that growing up, Dave and I had different interests. Including one pretty big interest. Shocking, right? But even when we weren't, doing our own things with our own friends or whatever, we always made time for each other, playing different games. When we were little, we used to have this game when we moved from our first house to our second house down. We had a basement. We had a hardwood floor, similar like this. And we used to have this game. We had Matchbox cars growing up. I used to see, who could race the Matchbox cars across the floor faster than the other. And it turned out, obviously we used to play at first, but then it turned out to basically just a throwing match. Who would throw them across the floor? And, we do other games and watch TV, play, ride our bikes outside, play hide and seek, and a lot of times. Of course, it wasn't until I grew up that I realized the irony of playing hide and seek. I always found my brother in the closet. That was my favorite joke of the whole speech. As we get older, things, even once we get older, my brother graduated college, he started his career, I had mine, but we still, doing different things. We still made time for each other. Actually, the first time I met Mike he was with Dave helping me out. My wife and I, fiance at the time, we just bought our house and we closed on our house. It was a couple days after Thanksgiving in 2005. I was working and my brother came over to help me bag up some leaves and clean up the yard. Of course, the people that were selling the house that we bought it from, they knew they were selling the house, so they didn't make a single leaf all season. And my brother ended up having to bag like 19 bags of leaves out of the house while I was at work. Now, of course, if you know my brother, the thought of him doing that much actual manual labor still makes me crack up laughing to this day. But he wasn't alone. I come home from work, and the first thing I get, I'm in my driveway, and Dave introduces me. He's like, Michael, this is Michael. So I got to tell you, I was actually in absolute shock. I didn't know what to say. I saw this guy. I thought for sure my brother hired some help to get him done with the yard. But that's the thing, right? They always tell you, when you found the person that was right for you, because they make you better and they want you to be better and do better things. And at the time, that was 2005. Mike and Dave were only together about a month, and at the time, Mike was already bringing that out with my brother. So, not to mention the fact that he had never met me before. He was at my house cleaning it, and I wasn't even there. So, not a lot of people would do that. So it's actually a great. Right away, I knew what type of person Mike was. But Mike, I can't give you all the credit. I'm not surprised my brother forced you to come there that day. After all, that's what wives do, force their husbands to come do things they don't want to do. It's been 8 years since then. Since then, I still have the same house. I've gotten married, had 2 kids. Dave and Mike found each other. They're married. Now they have a house to build for their own family. And I don't know if a lot of you may not know, but the house they live in is actually my grandparents' house that they bought when they moved to the town that our father grew up in. And when both my grandparents passed away, I couldn't think of any better people to buy the house than Dave and Mike to keep it in our family. After all, even though it's only been official for 2 hours now, we've been family for years. So Mike, Dave, just want to say love you both, best of luck, and congratulations to both of you.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put those hands together, let's hear those beautiful words from our best man, and of course, the reason why we came out this afternoon, Michael and David. Ladies and gentlemen, your first course is now being served, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen,